It felt at the time, it was an incredibly sort of risky little endeavour. You had this director from Bollywood who'd finished making a film about Pulan Devi, the Bandit Queen, and myself, an Australian. And it's not that that's a handicap, but maybe not the first immediate choice to play Elizabeth I. And I think it was kind of our renegade sensibilities that maybe gave it, at the time, that sort of unusual edge.
But you're also surrounded by British acting royalty, everyone from, the Lord Attenborough and all these people.
But people really cast against type.
Yeah.
You don't think of Cathy Burke as playing a Tudor queen.
Not.
And what I didn't sort of realise this, it was my first sort of interface with, I suppose, class prejudice in terms of what actors play. Christopher Eccleston coming from the north, then playing a duke. And I think it gave the casting, Eric Cantona playing the French ambassador. It was highly unusual. And what was great about Shaker is that he really, often, you think you could be acting your socks off, but you may as well be acting to the wall, because then they're covering, your ankles. And what Shaker did is he really focused on the journey of Elizabeth and shaped the film accordingly. So it was he had a great belief in me, which I think
that's
grateful.
what you meant to say the first time.
Probably, yes, it was. Yes.
Now, the end of the film does have the usual stuff at the top. She reigned another 40 years, and what happened to one or two of the characters. You could not have presumably imagined there wasn't presumably at the time talk of doing the sequel, was, or perhaps there was.
I didn't sort of see that there was a sequel in there, and that's what I liked about the film. It was simply what it was. And so when they began talking about it, I said, I think that's what I was going to say, is I said, to the first one, I said, why do it? Glenda Jackson's done it. So many people have done it, played her. What could I be adding to the, the interpretation of her? And it was Shaker's take on the film, playing loose and fast with history. He fought, in a really constructive way. I would bring out the history books and say, but this did not happen then, Shaker. And, he's saying, I don't know, it doesn't matter. And and that's what I love about him, is ultimately he's making a film about something else entirely, and using the character, the framework of Elizabeth's life on which to hang these other things. So the Golden Age, which we finished, he was interested in immortality. And I was very interested in the ageing process, having aged 9 years. But where... And I'm glad that much time passed between the first one and making another one, because I think now I'm at the stage where perhaps there's something different to say.
Is it fair to say that it was an important part of the career by winning... I don't know the prizes are that important, but presumably it didn't hurt.
Oh, look, it was absolutely fantastic. It did open a lot of doors for me, but I suppose what the scripts that were sent to me then were playing many unhappy monarchs throughout history, and so a lot of corsets. And I suppose then I realised, okay, I've got to risk unemployment and not. I've done that.